Hey, how's it going? Today I'm talking about how to stay motivated for dopey and marathon training.
This is Running to the Castle, a podcast for injury prone Run Disney runners on a journey to running magical miles. Join me, Dr. Allie, as I share the secrets I've gathered as a runner, doctor of physical therapy, and coach. You'll learn the exact ways I get my clients to the castle strong without feeling broken or held together with KT tape as they cross the finish line.
Today we're talking about one of the most common questions I get as a coach. How do I stay motivated to train? Or sometimes it's, I want to train for dopey. I just can't get myself to do it. Or even, dopey training is so long. How do I stay motivated for 6 months straight? And if that's you right now, first, let me say that's completely normal. Motivation is not something that stays high all the time, even for elite athletes or longtime runners. It comes and goes. It will go up and down. That doesn't mean something's wrong. That just means you're human. But it also means you need a strategy that works when motivation drops off, not if, but when, because it will. So today I want to walk you through how I coach my runners through the low motivation weeks and how to build a system that doesn't rely on willpower to get you to the finish line. Let's start with this. Motivation is not a personality trait. It's a feeling. And like any feeling, it fades. It shifts. It depends on what else is happening in your life. Your stress level, your sleep, your hormones, the weather, how was the last run? How did it feel? It's not stable. So let's stop expecting it to be. Here's the metaphor I like to use. Imagine motivations like the sun. It rises, it sets. Sometimes it's behind the clouds. Sometimes it's blindingly bright. You don't control when the sun shines, but you can still decide how to move through the day. You don't say, well, it's cloudy today. Guess I'm not going to work. Same with your training. The key is not waiting for motivation, but creating routines and rewards that keep you moving even when the quote unquote sun isn't shining. If your motivation is low, start by asking a few questions. What makes you excited? And I mean in general, not just running related. Why did you sign up for this race? What made you click the button and register for Dopey? What are you hoping to feel when you cross that finish line? Sometimes runners tell me, I don't even know why I signed up. I can't do this. And that tells me something deeper is off. When your training becomes a list of chores instead of a path to something meaningful, of course you don't want to do it. So reconnect with that why. Is it about finishing something you didn't think you could do? Making peace with a race that went badly last time? Proving to yourself that you can be consistent and do hard things? Doing something for yourself in the midst of taking care of everyone else? Or I've even had some clients who do it to show their children that they can do hard things. And then when you set out for a goal, you keep going until you complete it. Once you reconnect with the reason, you'll feel your motivation get a little bump. But let's make it even easier to want to run. Here are the exact strategies I use with my clients to rebuild motivation when it dips. Create workout-only treats. Make your run or your workout the only time you get to have something you love. Maybe it's you only listen to your favorite podcast while you're running outside. You only watch your favorite TV show while walking or running on the treadmill. Or you only use your favorite hydration drink or special fuel during your workouts. It builds anticipation. It turns, I have to run into, Yes, I get to find out what happens next in my audiobook or my podcast. I do this. I drink liquid IV as my hydration, as one of my hydrations during my workouts. I save strawberry lemonade for workouts only. It is a delicious flavor. And I know that if I want to have it, I need to go on a workout. So I make that special. If I have to run on the treadmill, I'm saving the TV shows that I want to watch for the treadmill. Another thing to do is set small, achievable goals. Instead of saying, I'll run 5 days this week, say, I'll prioritize my long run and go on 2 walks. You're building habits. You're still checking boxes, but you're not making success so hard to reach that you give up halfway. Life gets lifey. What is the bare minimum you can commit to each week to make it attainable, to make it so that you achieve it? I've had marathon and dopey runners only bare minimum say they can run 3 days a week, and anything else is extra. And they still complete the marathon and dopey because they have a strategy. The next one, tone it down. No, seriously, tone it down. This is a huge one. If you never feel like doing your long run, it's probably not just a motivation issue. It might be a pacing issue or a volume issue or both. You might be running too fast. You might be jumping up in mileage too quickly. And week after week, your brain is learning, this doesn't feel good. That's not a motivation problem. That's a feedback problem. When we adjust your training, slow down your pace, reduce how far you go, and make progress feel possible, your brain starts associating long runs with success again. Here's a mistake I see over and over again. A runner goes from running 4 miles to 6 to 8 to 10 with no breaks. That 10-miler crushes them. And their brain says, that was terrible. Let's never do that again. So what if instead of jumping by 2 miles, you added less? You added 10% each week. So for that 4-mile run, the next time it's 4.4 miles. Doesn't that sound easier? Most runners will look at that number and say, that has to be wrong. I'm barely doing anything more. How am I ever going to make progress? But you are doing more. You're doing 10% more. So it's 10% more, which is progress, but it's only 10% more. So it barely feels like you're doing anything more. You already had success at 4 miles. What's another 0.4? It's progress for one, and it's not exhausting, and your body doesn't feel terrible. And your brain doesn't think, let's never do that again. It thinks, oh my God, that was so easy. Let's go again. That's when motivation comes back because you're not dreading the next run. You're looking forward to it. Let me tell you about one of my runners. I'll call her Megan. Megan was consistent. She wasn't lazy. She was showing up every week, but she kept saying, I don't know why I don't want to run anymore. I looked at her training and realized she was running every long run way too fast because she thought that's what serious runners did. And every run made her feel like a failure. We pulled her pace way back, slowed her down so much it felt awkward at first. I describe it as, you know, those Sims characters in the video game, the computer game, where they just kind of like bounce in place. Sometimes that's what you need to look like when you're running. It looks like you're practically bouncing in space because you're barely going fast. And guess what? She started looking forward to her runs again. She started getting excited to train because her body finally had space to enjoy it, and her brain was not bracing for impact. So, if your motivation has dipped, ask yourself, do I actually want to do the workouts I'm assigning myself? Do I need to slow down or shrink my goals? Can I make training more fun, more rewarding, more me? Because motivation isn't something you find, it's something you build. Here's your challenge for this week. Pick one of these to try. Create a workout only reward, whether that be a podcast you want to listen to, an audiobook, a special drink, a TV show or movie. What is your workout only reward? And I would love to hear it. So if you pick one, send me a DM over on Instagram, runDisneyDPT, and let me know what your workout only reward will be. Something else you could try, shrink your weekly goal to 3 days. Prioritize the long run and 2 other short movement sessions, whether that be walking or running. Maybe it's 45 minutes, maybe it's an hour. Pick something that you know, I can totally stick to that. Or slow down your long run pace by about 2 minutes per mile and notice how you feel. And as always, if you want a coach who can help you figure this all out, when to push, when to pull back, when to slow down, and when to adjust, that's exactly what I do inside Stronger, Faster, Finisher. You don't have to stay motivated every day. You just have to keep showing up, and I'll do the rest.
Hey, can I ask a quick favor? If you're enjoying this podcast, would you take 20 seconds to leave a rating and review? Leaving a rating and a review helps other runners find this podcast because the platform you're listening to this on will start suggesting it to runners like you. All it takes is 20 seconds. Thank you so much for supporting this podcast. As